Guess I feel like talking again. I keep running across it, and people keep asking, how do you really find God? How do you find Jesus? And they're looking for him, and they're like, they can't find him. And a lot of people is losing faith in organized religion. And it's interesting because I honestly get it. I honestly get it. And let's say on a couple of occasions, a couple of instances, because I'm a Jehovah's Witness. Raised as a Jehovah's Witness and baptized as a Jehovah's Witness. And like I learned about other religions, but as far as practicing and really studying, I've always learned my Bible and studied with Jehovah's Witnesses. And I know what I know now today from being a Jehovah's Witness. And I can't tell someone else what to believe or how to believe. I can just show them what I believe and why I believe it. And it's up to that individual and what they realize and what they see. So I guess that's the best way for me to say it with organized religion. But Jehovah has always had his own organization. He's always had people for his name. And the Bible teaches that when he selects us as individuals, we become witnesses of him. We become bearers of the good news. We have our own testimony. We have the ability to know within ourselves what the truth is and who he is and what he stands for. And I guess the best way to say it is, despite all the things that I personally have been through, my grandma, because I love that woman. I love oh my God. She's really the reason that I know about Jehovah today, because she told me, pick up your Bible, do your personal study, talk to Jehovah, pray to Jehovah. And she also told me when certain things happened and individuals that I was supposed to be able to trust disappointed me, that I can't let the imperfections and shortcomings of other men and humans dictate how I feel about Jehovah and dictate my relationship with Jehovah, because Jehovah is not a man. He is nothing like a human. And that really resonated with me, because I realized that, a person doing something to me that's supposed to represent Jehovah isn't Jehovah. And a person doing something to me that is supposed to be in a quote unquote high statue, high authority, however you want to look at it. Because, in a Christian congregation, our head is Jesus. So everyone is a servant. But some people look at their titles as a status of authority, and some people use it to their advantage. And also, I realized that just because someone has a title or they have, I guess you can say they put on a facade. That's what they do. It's a lot of people that put on a facade of who they are, but behind closed doors, there's something completely different. Behind closed doors, they're not at all what they appear to be. And their influence is not based on the qualities that Jehovah wants us to display as his people. Their qualities is not based on love. Their qualities isn't based on integrity, endurance. Their quality isn't based on kindness, but in fact is something completely opposite and completely nothing like what Jehovah want his servants and those that really love him to represent. So that's what the scriptures mean when it says that those that serve, those that worship him will worship him in spirit and truth. They won't be putting on a facade. They won't be pretending to be something that they're not. They won't be acting like they love God or love Jehovah, and they really don't. And Jehovah knows exactly who those individuals are. He knows exactly who is looking for him, who is searching for him, who really actually love him, but maybe a little lost, maybe got a little sidetracked, maybe confused, because it's so much that we go through. It's so much, and we don't decide what we go through. We don't decide how our mind or our body react to certain things, but it's something that we go through. It's something that happens. And when we rely on Jehovah and we know that he personally helped us through it, because he will help us through it, and he does help us through it. And we have that testimony. We can say it with our own mouths, our own mind, our own heart, that this is my God. This is who I serve. That's something that no one can take away from us. And that's why Satan is so angry. He's so angry because he know that he don't have a reward coming. He know that once you have that personal relationship with Jehovah, only thing he can do is try to break you. That's it. And breaking you death is not the breaking point. And that's what makes him so angry, because it's not the breaking point. Once your faith is strong and you're really able to have that confidence and rely on Jehovah, it's not something that he can take. It's not something that he can separate us from. That's why the Apostle Paul said, there's nothing that can separate us from God's love. We have to separate ourselves from God's love. We have to separate ourselves. We have to let go of Jehovah's hand. Satan can't make Jehovah let us go. Jehovah, in fact, said he will not lose a single one. Not one of them will be missing. Not a single one. Not only do Jehovah count the stars, but he know the number of hairs on our head. And jokingly, yes, he know how many I'm supposed to have. So I'm grateful. But seriously, like, we don't decide what we go through, but we do decide if we're going to hold on and cleave to Jehovah. It says to cleave to him when we're having a hard time. Cleave to him. And whatever insecurities, anxieties, hardships, with tears, beg for his help. With everything, with your whole heart, pour it out to him. Pour it out, and don't stop until you feel at peace, until you feel that spirit is comforting you and holding you and You feel completely safe. That's what I do. And it's not always easy. It's not. It's levels to breaking those barriers, breaking those walls in our mind and in our hearts where it comes to believing, when it comes to enduring whatever it is that we're going through, because we're fleshly, we're human, and that the spirit is strong, but the flesh is weak. So sometimes we have to go through things longer than what we anticipate, longer than what we would like. And Jehovah said, expectations postponed make the heart weak or weary. But just because it's postponed don't mean it's not going to happen. Doesn't mean that Jehovah can't help us through. It doesn't mean that he doesn't give peace. It doesn't mean that he doesn't love us. I know he loved me. That's one thing I can say. I have my testimony. I got some stories. Jehovah really do. He really do. He love us. And he always have. Everything that he has given us is because he love us. And his son too. Like, oh, I wish I could just I'm going to try. I'm going to try to like just help create that visual image of how much they really love us. Like the way that we're taught to portray Jesus and Jehovah is not the way that the Bible really portrayed them. Like the level of integrity that Jesus have, the level of authority, the level of love and kindness, like it is, oh my goodness, like the balance, the beauty, and again, the love, like that's what we all respond to. Every living thing that responds to love. And when you think about it, isn't that what Jehovah is? Jehovah say he is love. And those that love have come to know him. Because without love, there's nothing. Without love, there's nothing. Everything responds to love. Everything responds to patience. And no, it's not always easy to display those qualities, but we respond to it. We really do. It comes down to, say, if you talk to plants, you talk to water, especially, oh my God, have you seen if you talk to animals? Like, I don't know, this set of kittens, I ain't never seen a set of kittens so loving in my life. Like, they, oh my God, they so loving. Children, everything, like, we just be drawn to, we are, even as adults, man, we are drawn to love, like, just, it just feel good. And that's the gift that Jehovah gives. That's the gift that Jehovah gives. And saying Jehovah's name and coming to know him is so important because he wants us to know his name. He wants us to use his name. It's like, think about it. Everything has a name. Literally. False gods. People use the false god's name with no problem. They have no problem saying that they worship this false god, that they, is doing this for this god or that god, and they have no issue saying it whatsoever. But when it comes to the true God, oh, God don't have a name. Oh, we can't use God's name. Because we can't use it in a worthless way. No, don't use his name in a worthless way. Don't play with his name. Because his name is He Almighty. He is the true God. No, don't play with his name, but use his name. Because that's a level of respect. That's a level of acknowledgement. When you walking in the street and you're not paying attention, if somebody calls you by your name, what you do? You turn around and look. You start paying attention. Like, who calling me? It's the same way with Jehovah. When we having a hard time and we can't focus, we can't think, we going through something and everything, instead of saying, God, oh God, any God can answer, and trust there are many gods. And if, especially too, if you surrounded by demons, you surrounded by them negative energies, because they coming up against you. And yes, they will come up against you. They want to break you. They don't want you to live. They don't want you to have the gift that Jehovah gives. So if you want someone's attention, you call them by their name. So we call Jehovah by his name, and we beg and we plead for his help. We beg and plead to do what's pleasing to him, to do and accomplish his will. Because even if we don't speak, if he have to cause the rocks to speak, they will speak. Jehovah is going to do what he wants. Jehovah is going to do what he feels and know needs to be done. And he said it from the very beginning. From the beginning of time, when Adam and Eve sinned in that garden, and he condemned them and he condemned Satan, he said then that his will and that his purpose would be accomplished. So we're living in a very interesting time in history, a very important time in history. And no matter what, as time goes, as the days go by, Jehovah said his name is going to fill his fill his earth. Yes, fill his earth. Fill this earth. And people are going to know who he is. And there's not going to be the ability to deny it. He said each one will carry his own load. Each one will answer. And those that's in the grave, those who practice good things and those who practice foul things, they're going to come out the grave as well. Some to a resurrection of life and some to a resurrection of judgment. Because they have to get to know Jehovah. They have to get to know the truth and decide for themselves, do they want to serve Jehovah, or do they want to go about in their own way and direction and do things the way that they want to. And we have 1,000 years to work toward perfection. No one's perfect. No one. I don't care who you are, no matter what level of blessing you have, no one is perfect. And we're all capable of serious sin. So Jehovah have to constantly readjust us. And that's why he said iron sharpens iron. And he help us to readjust each other. So that's my personal answer when it comes to organized religion. I know for a fact that I learned about Jehovah. I believe in Jehovah. I serve Jehovah because I am one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And until Jehovah say that this is not or may not be the organization that he's using, which we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Jehovah moved things the way that he wants to. He does what he wants to and what he needs to in order to have his will accomplished. But he said there will always be a people for his name. There will always be a representation of him in the earth. And that there will always be a way to come to him and get to know him. And he's calling us out. He calling us. He calling us. He not playing. And things is about to change. Things already changing. Things are happening that has never, ever, ever happened in the history of mankind, in the history of the earth. And we're looking on the internet, and some of the stuff that we're seeing, we're like, I don't even know if it's real. I don't even know if this is really happening, because there's so much that can be edited and changed and all that stuff. So You got to build a personal relationship with him. You got to come to know him. You really do. And rely on him. Rely on Jehovah. That's it. So right now, I know for a fact I am one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And I know what I personally believe. And I'm just striving to do my best to be faithful. I'm striving to do my best to accomplish Jehovah's will, to bring honor and glory to his name. And I think that's what scares me the most, that that's something that I could mess up. Because I'm human. I'm imperfect. But I know I do love Jehovah. And I love his son. And that's what I have to give. The fruitage of my lips, that's what I have to give. So I'm going to do my best, y'all. And I pray that y'all draw ever closer to Jehovah and that y'all get to know him. Because it's so worth it. It's so worth it. You can look around in his creation. You can look and see the grand things that Jehovah is capable of and that he can do. We are really nothing in comparison. But he loves us. He loves us. And it's no what I can't even completely fully understand it or comprehend it, but he does. And the Bible does says we are creating in his image. We're capable of displaying the qualities that he embodies. And because we're created in his image, we're created to serve him, to have this connection with him. And that's the importance. That's why it says, happy is he that's conscious of his spiritual need. Because we all have it. We all have a spiritual need. So we, no matter what, are going to attach ourselves to something spiritually. But Jehovah said, don't attach yourself to images. Don't attach yourself to graven images, carvings, basically all these objects to serve him, because we don't need them. That's what spirit and truth mean. It's spirit, is your heart, is your mind, is your spirit, is your inner self. It's not images. Those images and all those things, those are things that the demons attach themselves to, because when you hold them and you pray with them and you do all these things, you're not praying to Jehovah, you're praying to those images. And when you're praying to an image, then technically you're praying to whatever is attached to. So you're not worshiping Jehovah. Jehovah rejects that. So that's what it means to worship in spirit and truth. Jehovah wants us to serve him with our mind and with our hearts. And when we do that, it comes out of our mouths. It's like we can't hold it. We can't. And because of that, that's why we also need to be adjusted, because what you give out, you have to refill. You have to replenish. So when you're speaking and you're giving out that spirit and you're giving out that love, you have to make sure you get some of that back. And we get it from Jehovah. And that's what that daily Bible reading is. You're refilling so that you can overflow and give to others and go back and refill. Like, I think of the Bible account where the woman who was having a flow of blood, and she said, if only I just touch his outer garment. If only I could just touch his outer garment, then I'll be made well. And Jesus said he felt the power go out of him. And he said, who touched me? Well, that was Holy Spirit. Jehovah had made her well. Jehovah already knew she was there. Jesus didn't know she was there. But Jehovah was paying attention to the faith that she was displaying, because she knew that